We are pleased to be joined by the athletic director at Lemoyne College, Bob Beretta, our guest here on the show. Bob, thanks so much for coming on. How are you today?
Hi, guys. I'm excellent, Steve. Paul, thanks for having me. Appreciate it very much.
All right, so exciting times. I think we spoke with you about this time last year, and we were talking about Lemoyne College making the decision to go Division I in all sports. And, it's been, one thing after another, and we've built up to this point now where you announced this big expansion yesterday, expansion and renovation project for the athletics complex up there at Lemoyne. So tell us about it. What can people expect? What sports will benefit from this project?
Well, guys, this is going to be a holistic improvement of our athletic facility, not just for intercollegiate athletics, but also for our rec side, our intramural side, but more importantly, all of our student body. So, great, tremendous debt of gratitude to Assemblywoman Hunter, Senator Mannion, the folks that really lobbied hard for us with the state to get this grant for $12 million. And it's going to be a community endeavor for us. Initially we're going to add an outdoor track and tennis courts that the community will be able to enjoy. And then we've been talking about an expansion for the last 18 months here in our athletic facility. And that is going to include enhancements and new building, new construction on both sides, for our students and for our student athletes. But this first piece will be a state-of-the-art fitness center for all of our students. And right now, if you've seen our cardio room, our workout space for our students, it's substandard. This will be state-of-the-art, and this will benefit all of our students, faculty, and staff members. I'm really excited about that. That area falls under the auspices of the athletic director here at Lemoyne, so certainly something that I'm very, very motivated to try to help us through here. But our president has just done unbelievable work in teaming up with the folks in Albany, and certainly, again, Assemblywoman Hunter and Senator Mannion. And then the next phase is really going to be relying upon our ability to fundraise. We're going to go out and try to gain some corporate partnerships, some naming rights opportunities, but we plan on expanding our event center, which houses all of our basketball facilities, but all of our administrative offices and all of our coaching offices. So we're going to add on the plan now calls for a new strength and conditioning center for our student athletes, new coaches spaces, team rooms, video rooms, student athlete lounges, and then our locker room space will be completely renovated and expanded throughout the course of this 5-year project that will be sequenced and phased in as our funds become available through fundraising. But again, this initial grant from the state will allow us to hopefully put shovels in the ground next summer and begin on the phases that we discussed, the outdoor track, the tennis courts, and hopefully that fitness center for our students.
Bob, you mentioned a moment ago that this has been 18 months in the making. Some of these ideas have been on the table for, a year and a half. Is it fair to say that these improvements aren't just being made because of the move to Division I, that some of these things would have been done and were in the works anyway?
Absolutely. This is not a direct correlation to Division I. Will it help us? Absolutely, without question. But these are enhancements that this building we've needed. We've needed to serve our students in a better way in terms of mental health and wellness, and we know how important the physical aspect is towards everyone's mental health and wellness, the fitness piece. We need that. We need an outdoor. When I came up here on my interview, the first thing when I walked around, I said, well, we have a track and field program, but we don't have an outdoor track facility. So we're going to need to address that at some point. And we had outdoor tennis courts at one point, and they got paved over for a parking lot back in the 2010s, and we never replaced that. So again, these are things that are certainly will enhance our intercollegiate athletic program, but they're going to benefit the entire Lemoyne community and the entire Syracuse community. These projects now will be tied to community usage, and we're really excited about that. We feel like we're Syracuse's hometown college, and for the community to come in here and be able to enjoy these facilities along next to our staff and faculty and student athletes, very important to us. And, this grant was going to allow us to kickstart the project, but 100%, these are plans that would have been in place whether we transition to Division I or not.
I would imagine that going from a Division II institution to a Division I institution was a massive undertaking. Now that you are a year in, the academic year has wrapped up, when you look back, how did it go? Was it a smooth transition? What was the most challenging part of the transition? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Of course. I don't think it's ever a linear path to success, right? There's you take progress, you take a step back, maybe you take 2 steps back, and then you take 3 forward. I'd like to think that most of our steps were forward this year. I am so pleased with how our head coaches, our student athletes, our staff and faculty responded to this move. I think academically there were concerns. Academics is our number one priority here in the athletic department, and there were concerns. Transition, what is that going to mean to athletics? Well, I can tell you, I was just reading our grade reports today, and phenomenal. Our student athletes responded so well academically. Our GPA as in the athletic department, over 3.3 in both semesters. All of our teams, all 21 of our teams for 2 semesters in a row here, first time in school history, 3.0 or better for term and cum, which is amazing. We had 6 teams with a 3.5 or better this spring semester, and 2 with additional with a 3.4 or better. So academically, our students rose to the occasion. I think when you look at competitively, we fell just under 50% winning percentage in all NEC contests across the board. Now, that's a far cry from where we were at the Division II level in the NE10, but that's to be expected. We entered this academic year, our rosters were set. And so for us to be able to near that 500 mark in year 1 in league competition, knowing that we had a couple programs that were going to be undergoing a major rebuild regardless. And so if you were to take out some of those, really 2 of those records, then we're over 500 for the year. So I was very pleased. In basketball, we were 3 minutes away from hosting the men's championship game here. We went to Merrimack, down by 3 with 3 minutes to go. We lost that game. Had we won it, we'd have hosted the championship game based on what happened with Wagner, with some upsets that Wagner had created. Our women's team, as you guys know, played for the championship, lost at Sacred Heart, then went up to the NIT, played a very talented Niagara team, fell by a couple of points late in that game. So we felt really good about our basketball experience. I think our lacrosse teams, our women's team qualified for the NEC championship in year 1. Our men's soccer team qualified for the NEC championship in year 1. Our men's lacrosse team, very difficult experience this year because independent schedule took on some of the top teams in the country, played at Denver, number 1 Denver at the time, tied at halftime, lost in the second half, went to Yale, talented Yale team, fell on the road. But I think, guys, one thing I'm really proud about is we told our student athletes that during this reclass period when we couldn't compete for NCAA championships, we wanted to deliver championship experiences to them. And I believe that we were successful and we delivered in that space. And for example, our women's volleyball team, never on a plane before, they took trips to Florida Gulf Coast, which I'm kind of shocked most of them came back. I don't know that I would have come back from that trip, and to South Carolina. Our men's soccer team opened up at Penn State. Incredible experience. Basketball, national TV games throughout the season. Our women's basketball team, national TV games throughout the season. But it just wasn't the marquee programs that got that championship experience. We talked about men's lacrosse going to Denver and going down to play down in Atlanta, playing Mercer and playing at Yale. So it was holistic across our program. And as the athletic director, you'd always like to have more victories. But when I look at our grades, right, when I look and see 8 of our teams with 3.4s or better, when I look at our engagement in the community with over 2,500 hours of community service, when I look at how we performed on the field in year 1, you cannot look at this season and be anything but ecstatic with where we are. And when you think about this $45 million expansion to our facility enhancement to what we can provide our student athletes, the trajectory here at Lemoyne is straight up. It is an exciting time to be here on the Heights, and we are going to be a force in the NEC to be reckoned with. I think we already have caught people's attention, and I think as we continue the evolution of this reclassification, there are people that are going to be really worried about where we're coming from and where we're headed.
Yeah, so much to be excited about. You mentioned that you've caught people's attention already. Along those lines, I know athletics, that's your area of expertise. But in terms of admissions, going Division I with the extra exposure, have you seen a bump in the admissions numbers to Lemoyne and some of those non-athletic areas?
Well, that's a great question. And, I don't know, not to get too far in the weeds this year, but the FAFSA, the financial aid system, has been chaotic throughout the course of the year this year. Nationwide, they made some changes in the financial aid, the form, the process, and it's delayed everything for everybody across the country. So if you talk to any VP in charge of enrollment across the country, they're going to talk about the challenges that they face. But I can tell you, when I spoke with our VP for enrollment management last about this at graduation 2 weeks ago, his name is Tim Lee. Right now, we're on track to exceed our goal at a time when most schools, if they can get near a break-even proposition of what their goal was, if they're within 50 to 25, 100 of their goal, they feel it was a successful class, we are going to exceed our goal. And that talks about the power of Lemoyne, the power of our academic portfolio, and certainly I'd like to think athletics and this D1 transition has helped elevate the profile of the entire institution. I'd like to feel like that has something to do with it. I don't know how much, but I can also tell you our grads have responded. Just in the past 2 months, this college has received a $12 million gift to name our College of Arts and Sciences, a $7 million gift to establish a teaching and learning center, a $2 million gift to go towards our fitness center, now this $12 million grant from New York State, and on top of that, athletics, we recently received our first $1 million gift to endow our head men's basketball coaching position, and then 2 other six-figure donations in the past 2 months. So the trajectory, as I talked about, is sky high, and there's just so much excitement about this college. I'd like to think that athletics is playing a small role in that. I think I can confidently say it's not detracting from our success, but I'd like to think that we're playing a small role in that step forward for the college.
We see the numbers getting bopped around for Power 5 schools with the NIL. How is it affecting schools like Lemoyne?
Well, the NIL is such a complex piece right now, and you see it's a turbulent time to be in NCAA, in the NCAA and collegiate athletics. The landscape changes every day, and with the House settlement, we really don't know exactly how it's going to impact us, but we do know it's going to have a significant impact on schools at the Power 5 level and schools down at the mid to low major level. There's going to be an impact. We know that. It's just about how much. So I think you're going to start to hear and read about how schools are going to deal with that, and whether that's adjusting staff, adjusting salaries. Where are the priorities going to be? Hopefully it's not going to be cutting services to student athletes. That's why we're in this industry. I hate the thought of ever considering cutting services to student athletes. But I will tell you, the House settlement, I do not believe is going to impact the reclassifying schools, since we were not at the Division I level during the time of this lawsuit. So I do believe that is kind of a hidden positive for schools such as Lemoyne and Stonehill and Mercyhurst, those that are in the reclassification period right now. But the NIL piece is something we have to embrace, and we have to be active in that space. I can tell you we are active in that space, and I think that we will probably be ahead of our colleagues in the NEC come the fall in that area. It's something that you don't have to love, but you have to find a way to embrace it and bring it as part of your program, because it's here to stay, and those that are going to ignore it are going to fall behind, and those that embrace it and try to find ways to be creative about this and provide our student athletes with an opportunity to really expand on their own name, image, and likeness, and give them those opportunities, they're the ones that are going to flourish in this space.
You talk about Power 5 schools. It's a common question we get. Will Lemoyne start scheduling Syracuse? I know that you've scheduled some Power 5s.
Yes.
Basketball and lacrosse, I think in particular, are sports that we get asked about.
Yes, sir.
So, not to put you on the spot, Bob, but do you foresee a day where Syracuse and Lemoyne are playing in various sports?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a day come this August where you're going to see some teams, some sports play in Syracuse, and they're great partners. Our friends over at Syracuse have been awesome with us during this transition, and I've been on record. For us, I'd love to play Syracuse in every competition that's possible. During year one, it was very difficult. We had our schedules already in place by the time we made the announcement. I believe softball was the only team that got to play Syracuse. I went up to that doubleheader back in April and watched those teams play. And we lost 8-6 in one game, and I think the other one was 6-1. And we were very competitive in both those contests. But I think you will see these teams, these two institutions, compete more regularly. I probably shouldn't tell you which ones I know that are on tap for this year, but there are several that are going to generate a tremendous amount of excitement within the community, and we're still working on some others before we finalize our scheduling for the 24-25 year.
I was going to say, I mean, if you want to break some news for us here on the show, we would love it. So,
I will tell you that your listeners will be very intrigued by the sports that we're going to compete against Syracuse in. I know that I am, and I think it's going to create a lot of excitement, and it's going to create excitement among our student athletes, but certainly the community in general. I mean, we're 5 minutes down the road. It makes too much sense from a financial standpoint, and for us, we love playing the role of David versus Goliath. We'll accept that role and enjoy those opportunities. But it also creates unbelievable experiences for our student athletes to go over and play in that environment, whether it was our exhibition games in basketball the past couple of years, and now for our teams to go over and play. And hopefully maybe there'll be some home-and-home matches where we'll get some return games and bring the Syracuse student athletes over to experience what we offer here at Lemoyne as well.
We get calls on this show about baseball all the time. Syracuse should get baseball. How does Lemoyne take advantage of that, empty space in this market?
Yeah, it is. It's a void for us, no doubt about it. I mean, if you want to play Division I baseball in Central New York right now, we're the only game in town. And I think Scott Cassidy does a great job with our baseball program. Former big leaguer. We were 22-27 this year, but we had 5 of our pitchers that we counted on for the weekend series out with injuries throughout the course of the year. We'd go into a weekend with maybe 5 or 6 healthy arms. So we're going to be really good there again. We were dominant in the MAC when we were back in the Division I level back in the 2000s. Obviously, Coach Rockwell established just an incredible legacy of success here, and Coach Cassidy comes from Dick Rockwell's tree, played for Coach Rockwell, and we feel like we're going to be able to build on that. So certainly, it helps us. I don't want to sit here and be disingenuous, but certainly, while I am a huge fan of Syracuse after Lemoyne, I would prefer that they don't start a baseball program because less competition in the market for us is better.
Yeah, Scott Cassidy, local guy. He actually, my college roommate was a pitcher as well, college pitcher, and they know each other very well. Great guy and great coach. Bob, you've been very gracious with your time. Anything we didn't touch on that you want to get to before we let you go today?
Hey, I just want to thank you guys, Steve and Paulie, for all the support you guys have provided us in the marketplace in year one. You help tell our stories. We have great stories to tell. It's a great partnership, and anytime I can hop on and answer any questions you have, I'm happy to do that. But thank you to the community for embracing this move to Division I for us in year one, and expect bigger and better things moving forward.
All right, Bob, thanks for coming on. Continued success. Keep it up. I hope you can enjoy some of your summer, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.